In a survey conducted in early 2015 by the NAM Foundation, 77% of teachers and 64% of parents agreed that music and arts education are either extremely important or very important. 87% of teachers and 81% of parents believe that children should have music education as early as elementary school. Yet, despite these statistics, public funding for the arts has been under attack in America for decades. Hello, my name is David Adams. I've been a musician for 20 years, and I've released several albums, both as a musician solo and as a member of various bands. And I'm here to talk to you today about the importance of music education in K through 12 schools. Now, I'll first discuss why the current system is woefully underfunded, then explain the benefits of music education for the development of children, and finally I'll discuss positive changes that we can make to ensure that all K through 12 students receive the music education that they deserve. As a musician who learned to read and write music in the public school system, this issue speaks to me personally, and I hope that you can come to see how important music education is to our youth. Now, before we can talk about how to fix this system, we must first understand how it's broken. Arts funding through K through 12 schools is already inefficient, and it's in constant danger of being cut entirely. The National Endowment for the Arts was created to benefit all Americans, and according to Araceli Crescencio of Pepperdine University Graphic, it's the single largest contributor for music programs in America. Now, the funding is in short supply. Now, in 1984, the NEA received a little over $162 million. In the 90s, that would slash to about half. Now in the year 2020, it's back up to $162 million. Which sounds good, but keep in mind that that number is not adjusted for inflation. So that means despite having a much higher student body count, more teachers to pay, and greater material costs, the NEA is actually receiving the same funding it was 30 years ago. Now, this is due in large part because funding for all education has not increased enough over the years. And when given a choice, lawmakers will usually choose to fund STEM and consider that as a priority, while they consider arts to be more unnecessary. Now, for every year of his presidency, the Trump administration has wanted to slash funding entirely. According to an ArtNet news report that was based on an official press release last year, quote, "The administration does not consider NEA activities to be core federal responsibilities." Now, let that sink in. This mentality is harmful. If we do not properly fund arts education, our children will go without the benefit of music and be all the worse for it, particularly those in underserved communities. Now, to illustrate this point, I will now discuss some of these benefits that children receive through receiving musical instruction. Now, multiple studies have shown that there are many psychological and physiological benefits from receiving musical education. Musical training helps develop language and reasoning skills. In fact, according to an Arete Music Academy study, children who study music tend to have larger vocabularies and more advanced reading skills than their peers who don't participate in music lessons. Additionally, according to research published by Parent Magazine in 2014, learning to play an instrument can help children develop hand-eye coordination and their fine motor skills. Now, it's also been found that children who study music instruments are more likely to excel in all of their studies. They work better in teams, they have enhanced critical thinking skills, they stay in school, and they pursue further education. Now, Now that you know just how important some of this is dealing with music education, you're probably thinking to yourself, what can we do to ensure that all children receive these benefits regardless of their economic status? That's an excellent question. Next, I'll tell you about a few different ways that we can improve our current system. Now, as I said before, the main concern to musical education, the main obstacle, is funding. But there are a few ways that we can get money into the hands of those who need it the most. First and foremost, the best way to encourage more public funding is to call or write your congressman or woman at both the state and federal levels. The old saying is that Congress holds the purse strings, and that's true. That's true even to this day. They make the decisions, and they might not make the decision to fund these programs because they don't understand how important it is, and that's our job to inform them. Next, you can donate to organizations that promote musical education. There are a bunch of wonderful organizations out there. Quick Google search will show quite a few. Just to name some off the bat, there's the Fender Music Foundation, created by the Fender Guitar Company. There is Musicians Without Borders. There's also the Music Teachers National Association. Any of those can definitely benefit from funding from you or other people that you know. Lastly, you can always sponsor a child directly to receive music lessons. It could be your own children if you have them. It could be a cousin, could be niece or nephew, any of them. It works on a much smaller scale than the other methods that I've discussed already, but by sending that child to receive tutoring or lessons of some sort, you're at least contributing to their growth. As Plato once said, education in music is most sovereign, because more than anything else, rhythm and harmony find their way into the innermost soul and take strongest hold upon it. Now, music has changed my life for the better, and I really could discuss this topic for hours, but I'm limited with my time here. So, in closing, if I can leave you with anything, I hope it would be the following. Music education in America is underfunded, and it disproportionately affects those of lower economic standing. This is hurting our children by not only denying them the joy of playing and creating music, but by hindering their physical and psychological development. Music education promotes cooperation, social skills, improved reasoning, and creativity. In order to improve the current system, we need to foster these skills in our children. We're going to need to take it upon ourselves to encourage greater state and federal funding, as well as private donations. The development of our children should be our top priority because they are the future. And in a world divided so politically, religiously, economically, the gift of music is invaluable to foster communication and understanding between everyone. And we may not always hear one another, but as the children's author Hans Christian Andersen once said, where words fail, music speaks. Thank you for your time.